There is a new report that most entities in the US need to file by January 1st, 2025. So deadline is fast approaching. And if you don't file, there are some crazy penalties, like $10,000 in fines, and you can actually go to jail. So it's so crazy that I actually thought it was a scam. So the topic of today's video is BOI reporting, BOI, what it is and what you have to file to stay compliant. Let's get going. If you are a person in the US who owns a US business, or if you are a person outside of the US who owns a business that operates in the US, this applies to you. If you are a sole proprietor, this does not apply to you, but honestly, I would recommend you watching this because as your business grows and expands, maybe you will turn your sole proprietorship into an LLC and you need to file for this report. Quick overview of what this is. So on January 1st, 2021, Congress passed a new law called the Corporate Transparency Act. The whole point of this act is to prevent illegal activity in the US, like money laundering and tax evasion, by providing information about the beneficial owners of an entity. They want to know who owns which businesses in the US, who's behind that business. It took 3 years for them to set this up, and this act, this law, went into effect on January 1st, 2024, so the beginning of this year. And businesses have until January 1st, 2025 to file and stay compliant. The entity taking care of this is FinCEN. It's the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. We have all types of government agencies in the US. We have FinCEN, who's the entity running this initiative. FinCEN's mission and what they do, the whole point of FinCEN existing is to prevent criminal activities in the financial system in the United States. Then we have the IRS, and IRS's entire purpose is to collect taxes. You might be thinking, why do I have to file a different report with this entity that I've never heard about called FinCEN if the IRS probably already has that information on me and on my business because I filed taxes? And the thing is, all these agencies, they usually don't share information among themselves. And this is why we have to file a report with this one specific agency, even though the IRS might already have that information on you, if that makes sense. So coming back to the act, the whole point of this Corporate Transparency Act is for reporting companies to share their beneficial owners' information. Again, they want to know who owns which companies, and the way that we will provide this information to FinCEN is by filing and submitting this report called the BOI, the Beneficial Ownership Information Report. So just to tie it all together, BOI is a report that we have to file with FinCEN, which is this organization, this agency in the US responsible for preventing crimes in the financial system. And we have to do that because there's this act that passed on Congress in 2021 called the Corporate Transparency Act. It all came together. Now, who needs to file this? Companies that need to file this are reporting companies. A reporting entity is an entity that was created by filing a document with the Secretary of State or a similar office. So in this video here, we talked about different types of corporate structure, and we saw that sole proprietorships and general partnerships, you don't have to file anything. You don't have to actually have a document and submit a document with the Secretary of State to prove that you are a operating entity. So because of this, sole proprietorships and general partnerships are exempt from filing this BOI report. However, all the other types of companies, LLCs, corporations, some nonprofits, some types of business trusts, they are considered reporting entities for the sake of BOI. And to check this out and read all the instructions yourself, I am leaving the links down below in the description of this video with the PDFs for FinCEN and also all the correct links of FinCEN's website. So the next thing that we have to check is exemptions. Who's exempt from this? And honestly, probably not you. It is not me, but there are a few exemptions. The most notable being if you are a big corporation, if you are a big entity, and there is a checklist of 6 items that you need to check. One of them being having 20 or more full-time employees and also having made over $5 million in the previous year. Again, probably not you, definitely not me, so let's keep going. So what exactly do we need to file? We need to file this BOI report with FinCEN, and we need to share information about the reporting entity and about the beneficial owners of this entity. Now, Who's considered a beneficial owner? A beneficial owner is anyone with 25% or more ownership in this company. So that's pretty easy. Or any individual that indirectly or directly exercises substantial control over the company. Every time you file for something, you will face this type of vague language. And in this case, is this substantial control. How do I know if I'm exercising substantial control if I consider myself an owner, but I don't own over 25% of the company? But generally, either you own a company or you don't, and you know that you do. We are actually gonna go together step by step. I'm gonna open FinCEN's portal. We're gonna file my LLC's information with my personal beneficial owner information so you can see what's happening. But it's nothing crazy. It's basic information about the corporation or your LLC, such as the name, the DBA if you're doing business as another entity, the company's address, and then yourself, your legal name, your social security number. You have to upload a photo of your ID or your passport. Very important. Who will be able to see this? And this information is not going to be publicly available. Entities that want to access this information will have to ask for your consent to then go to FinCEN and get this information. And finally, what happens if you don't file this or if you file with incorrect information? There are again severe penalties, things like $500 a day in fines, up to $10,000, and up to 2 years in jail. The point here is this is real, this is not a scam, it's not fake, it's some crazy penalties, and it takes 10 minutes for you to file this report. So the next thing we're gonna do is to file the report together. So the first thing we need to do is to go into the BOI filing in the FinCEN website. So I'm gonna click beneficial ownership information, get started, and I am going to file online. Prepare and submit BOI. Okay, so the first thing we need to answer is this the initial report, or is this you're correcting a prior report, you're updating? And for most of us, this is going to be the initial report. Date of today. So this part is, do you want a FinCEN ID? Do you want to have a identification for this FinCEN website? So this is the reporting company name. I'm going to be typing my real company's name, and I'm going to blur this in the editing because you don't need to see my personal information, but this is the reporting name of the company. And you will complete this as per your documentation of incorporation. So my company was formed in Delaware, so I have the Delaware certification open in one of my screens so I can follow along exactly as the name of the company was incorporated. So I'm going to file this with an EIN. So you would add your company's EIN in there. So if you have a foreign company, a foreign tax ID is gonna ask for the country. Since mine is American, I don't need to do that. Here, I just need to enter the United States as the country of my company. So state of formation, this is where your company was formed, not necessarily where it's operating. Mine was formed in Delaware. We operate in Minnesota, so I'm gonna include Delaware. Current US address, that's the address of your company. And this is a one-time report. You're gonna do it once when you form the company or by January 1st, 2025. And then you only need to redo it if information changes. If you have new owners, new ownership, if your address changes, if your state changes. So you don't, for most companies, you're gonna do this once and only if anything dramatically changes in the structure. So I completed my US address. Next. Okay, so this one, existing reporting company. The instruction for this item 16 says, check this box if the reporting company was created or registered before January 1st, 2024. Okay, so I'm gonna check this because the company was created before 2024, and that means that I don't need to include who was the company's applicant, who opened this company. If you did open this on January 1st, 2024 or after, you're gonna have to add this information here as well. Okay, so far you only enter basic information about your company, the legal address of the company, the legal name of your company, state of formation. Now it's the part where we're gonna enter the beneficial owners of the company. In my case, I have 3, so I will be entering all 3 of us. So the first part here is asking if the beneficial owner is a minor, which in our case it's not, if the beneficial owner has a FinCEN ID, which is again an ID that you create and then your data keeps being pulled every time you complete anything with FinCEN. I don't have one, so I'm not going to enter anything. Legal name and date of birth. So this is, I'm gonna enter for myself first, the individual's last name or legals. So I'm entering my last name, I'm entering my first name, I'm entering my date of birth. So once I completed my address, is asking about the form of identification. So I am going to do state issued driver's license. So I'm gonna enter the number of my driver's license now. Okay, so here's asking me to upload a photo of my driver's license, which I had saved on my computer already. So before clicking next, I am going to click add beneficial owner because I have a second person here. So I'm going to click 2 times. I have 3. Now I'm going to do this for my 2 partners who are also beneficial owners in this company. And once it's done, I'll be right back. And now we got to the last part here, was the submission. So it says complete all fields below before submitting. Directly after the submission, a processing page will be displayed. So I'm going to put my company email. So I'm certifying that I'm authorized to file this report. Actually, you as the owner of the company don't need to be the person filing this. Anyone can file for you as long as you give them authorization. So I'm clicking agree and I am a human. Okay, so perfect. I got a submission status of confirmation. It's saying don't forget, please download the transcript. So I'm downloading this and saving in my records. As we saw in one of my other videos, I highly suggest you start a Google folder or any type of folder to keep your documents organized. I'm going to be uploading this to this folder in a specific section for legal documents. And this was it. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know in the comments down below if you have never heard of BOI and if that helped you at all. My goal with this video is to at least make one more person aware of this because I honestly just stumbled upon this, which brings me a good point. How do I know if there's anything else that I'm missing on my reporting? So what I recommend is subscribe to YouTube channels that you think are important and they're sharing that information with you. Subscribe for newsletters. The only reason why I know about this is because it popped up in an email, a newsletter that I signed up for. Also, if you do have a CPA, maybe have a quick chat with them and just ask, is there anything missing in my reporting for me to stay compliant? Those are the 3 things that I can think about. And yeah, hope this was useful. See you next time.